I would describe them as sort of whimsical, quirky, oddball, a bit like a zany character, but by using sort of old vintage objects. Yeah, my name's Martin Horspool, but people call me the Robot Man. Yeah, when I was in school, I was always creating things, making things, drawing, even like through all my work, through my normal work, I've always been making things or being sort of creative, even like making things for the garden, the sculptures, or there's always some sort of end product to do with sort of art or drawing or sculpture.
My name's Wendy. Robots are all over the house and I love it, but sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming when you come home from work and there's 5 of them on the kitchen table. Martin would be in the workshop probably on his days off about for 6 hours. He emerges at 1 o'clock to make me lunch and then goes back down until about 5.
I started creating the robots because I had a bit of a collection of like broken parts and broken bits of old 1960s sort of retro lamps, and then I thought, oh, yeah, I'll be able to make them. I started making insects to start with, and then it sort of progressed into robots.
Yeah, Martin will come up and show me the bits of pieces of robots that he's putting together, and then I'll explain what he's going to do with them, and then talks about the personality of what they're going to be as well, and then gets some feedback from me always, and then ignores it or...
People's conception of robots these days is as they're very, very clinical, very intelligent, and but my version of a robot is something that's not, it's kind of like industrial, and a bit worn out, and a bit damaged around the edges. I'm gonna name him Frigidaire, which is part of the fridge parts that he's sort of wearing, and it's like a really nice badge that I'll stick on afterwards. And because it's got a built-in speaker, the actual body is from probably a late 1950s American car, and by the miracles of science, I can plug my phone in and I can play some Dirty Murder tunes.
Nice seeing Martin come up the stairs with all these different creations, and it's good. But if he had his own way, the house would be full of them, definitely.
Like this wee fella here, I probably built that maybe 10 years ago. I was given the radio. It's like a late 1950s American car radio. I stripped the guts out of it, and I love the colours of it. And on the back, you've got these two little rockets, which are like early 1960s electric shavers. And this is one of my favourites. It's because I was given it, and it's a very, very personal item. I don't think I'd ever sell it. So it just sits on the windowsill, looking out of the window, and what's his name? Pacemaker, because he's got like a pacemaker, I think there. Yeah. This is like it's called Flash Gordon. And he's like the paparazzi of the robot world, you see. And I've got this beautiful old, probably 1970s camera, like an old-fashioned, where you put your flash bulb inside there, and one of those things. And these beautiful things here, I've pulled those from the bin outside where I work as a printer, and they're numbering boxes that they used to use for numbering checkbooks. These are part of the old TV aerial. So that's quite a nice little thing, Flash Gordon. I think the robots that I build, they are just figments of my imagination. I mean, each one that I build, I seem to imagine it living in a parallel universe. We're in this world, but there's like a robot world that I'm creating these for, and each one has its own personality that fits in with that alternative world. You know, there'll be a grungy one, or there'll be someone that's a bit more intelligent, or there'll be a musical robot that plays in a band, or there'll be like one that dismantles things in a scrapyard. It's just weird stuff that comes out of my imagination, you know. I see myself as a alternative artist, and I've always had an interest in sort of comic book style sketching and sort of industrial design. So my art sort of combines kind of like all that. But I do love being creative, playing music, and especially being here in my workshop.